Hello, bonjour, savant. How are we today? It is Tuesday, June the 3rd, 2025, here in beautiful southwestern Ontario, Canada, by the shores of Lake Huron. I think, was it yesterday I went? No, I think it was the day before, and I went for a walk along the beach. A lot of that black stuff is gone. I'm not seeing or smelling the dead fish. So I don't know. Again, nobody seems to have the answer about that. Just giving you a little update. It is looking better. Definitely looking better when I go down to the beach, and I'll do that today after this. But I had to come on after the video I did previously because there were a lot of emotional responses. Um, my mother always said, never discuss religion and politics. You're gonna be in a fight, and that's exactly what happens. Um, just to say it for like the millionth time, I personally, 3D Cynthia Me, is not political. I've never had any interest in politics, and probably never will. But never say never, right? Um, yeah. What's really going on here is a lesson learning is how I'm hearing it from spirit. Lesson learning. What we're looking at is how we work through the various levels of thought, the degrees of energy coherence. So from source, as we know by now, that's drop down and drop down and drop down until we're in this third dimensional dense physicality situation, which is a simulation after all. Okay, there are many levels to this. It's quantum reality, multidimensional, interdimensional, all the words we've heard before, however you need to view this to understand this. When we are speaking with you here, we're working through all dimensions of thought. So, from 3D Cynthia here to source, code, energy fields of light, and back. And whenever and wherever we need to go, because sometimes it's in a time capsule we're looking at, and other times it's outside of time that we're looking at. So, as whatever the information that is required to inform, to give messages, basically for clearing purposes, we are to clear ourselves subliminally so that we can rest and digest the higher light. Wherever we need to go to find the information, that's where we go. So as said, I came on with a very 3D perspective as Canadian me, giving you a little insight into the Canadian psyche. Okay, at 3D level. Okay, that's all, 3D level. And what's going on in 3D level. Whether we see the repercussions of a Canadian boycott or not remains to be seen, right? We have to, it's going to show up in one way or another, or it's not. We'll see it. Eventually, time will tell, as we like to say here. So we move through the varying degrees of light to give you the communications that you require for your higher insight. That's how we test you and take you back to your higher light. If you are having an emotional knee-jerk reaction to anything, even if it's outside of politics, although politics is like so huge on your world right now, anything at all, and you notice that you are having an emotional, third dimensional knee-jerk reaction, that is a little sign or a hint from the universe to take a step back and ask yourself, why am I reacting? Because when you're in reaction mode, you're not in master mode, are you? You're in childhood mode. You're stepping into fear again, which is low. Master doesn't do that. Master views all things in all realities, times and spaces, in time, outside of time, anywhere from the lowest dimensionality, the density, to back to source, to the highest, and then back to source. So we don't have an emotional knee-jerk reaction, in other words. Just because somebody mentions the word, I'm going to spell it because if I say it, they'll probably freak people out. Trump. Doesn't matter which side of the fence you're on. You're still on one side or another of the fence. That means you're in division. That means you're in separation. How holy is that? Are you master of yourself? The whole plan isn't revealed to us in babyhood state. It can be in master state, but I don't think any of us are truly past a certain level here on this world and on this planet. Not just yet. We're getting there. We're in training mode. We're in our training pants. What do they call that? I don't know. Can't remember. I had my children so long ago. But when you come out of the training mode, then you'll be realized as a true master of your spirit light, of your own, not anybody else's. So if you have an emotional reaction, one way or the other, yes, I really love that, I really love this person, I really hate that person, it doesn't matter, you're still having an emotional reaction. Go back, look at yourself. Why did I react? What am I so afraid of? Usually when people get angry, it's because they're afraid. First it's the fear, and then they get angry. It's so typical, right? It's kind of what we do here. When you get to the point of not having the fear, then you don't have the anger. And you're in a higher state of conscious awareness. That's where the master resides. If you have anything less than that, you're not in master condition. And that's okay. There's no judgment. You're working through this process of coming back to your higher light. That's what it's all about. To see the bigger picture, yes. So you go into the different interdimensional thought waves and you read it. You ask the question, what's this really all about? And as I've said before, and which some people don't seem to like, is that sometimes there are parts that are hidden from view for a very high purpose. Because we could end up unknowingly interfering with our own thoughts that could kind of, mess things up at the higher levels. We're very powerful beings. We can do that. All right? You don't have, I keep hearing this, I've heard this for years, you don't give a loaded gun to a baby. Okay? They don't know what they're doing with all that firepower. We are highly magnetic spiritual beings, and we can attract to us whatever we want. And if we don't understand the circumstances 100%, which would be from source, then we can literally mess things up. So there are times when you have to accept the not now. We're not going to give you that information now. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing to fear. Your faith and trust steps in to fill in the gaps. I know at a certain point in time, all will be revealed. Some people like to call it divine timing. Doesn't matter. Call it whatever you want. But if you don't like that and you're in fear-based mode, then ask yourself why. you've got some hidden programs running in your subconscious. And also, I'm getting, you don't like to be told what to do either. So that you have a lot of programs from past lifetimes and eons of time and history, as well as what's filtered into the now moment of your life. Excuse me. And there's some of us who don't like to be spoken to of the higher dimensional realms either. Yeah. But everybody's learning at their own pace and at their own rate. So anytime you have an emotional reaction and you get angry because somebody says something that you don't like, ask yourself why. I can tell you from experience, just this lifetime alone, belief systems change. And they can change radically from moment to moment. So if you hold on to those beliefs and you think that that's right and everybody else is wrong, you're going to be surprised at how those beliefs can change when you get older and when you start to mature. I know I've met people, I've looked after the elderly for many years. Some people never change their belief system and they pass over with those old beliefs. Others have grown and matured, spiritually speaking, and they have shifted their perspectives. Because that's all they are. You can change your mind in a split second. You can engage with other codes of light that are higher and less detrimental to your health. So no matter what happens here in the physical and in the now, that's going to be transmuted over time. So bottom line, it doesn't really matter in 3D matter because it's in transmutational code right now. And we're coming into our higher divine line of time. Just because we speak here from different levels of interconnected consciousness, and just because you perhaps don't like at some levels what we're saying here doesn't discount the validity of it. We will shift through whatever dimensional, interdimensional conscious awareness that needs to be shifted into to take a look at it. That's why we say no judgment. Please, you're doing yourselves and everyone else on the planet a disservice when you're coming from your own judgmental way of viewing things. Maybe, just maybe, there's another viewpoint there. There always is another viewpoint. There's always a higher level perspective viewpoint on that. So in other words, me as 3D me can look at things. I'm a Canadian, and I can look at things from a Canadian perspective. We don't like certain things that are being done. We have every right to not like certain things being done. But from a higher viewpoint, I go and I look at this. Oh, okay, whoa, this is part of the plan. This is one of the steps we're engaging with. As we know, I've heard this how many times now in the last 24 hours? It all turns out right in the end. We are not privy to all the different little steps going on in the background. And we don't need to be. If you are fear-based, then you will want to know. But we don't need to know. When you come from love, you know everything turns out right in the end. And we focus on the love and the compassion and the higher light. And we trust because we know it's all going to be all right. No matter what it looks like right now, that can be shifted and changed in a moment's notice. In the blink of an eye, you can shift everything and erase the past. How many times have we said, the past does not last? We're erasing it as we speak. The old timelines are converging with the new ones, and we're getting rid of the old ones that we don't like. They won't be in existence for much longer. So, hold on to your hats. We're going to go through a little bit more turmoil. I mean, even the spiritual astrologers were saying June and July were like really, really the worst of 2025. We're going to find out why as we move through it. But keep your ground, right? This is where you have to stay sane. This is where you master your emotions and not fly off the handle every time somebody says something you don't like. Maybe they've got a point. Even if you don't like it, maybe they've got a point. Let's detach from that for a while. Let's go for a walk before I respond. Let me think this over first. Let me check this out. Let me research this. Let me take a breath. Go into meditation. Ask, what's this really about? What's really going on? Is there anything I have to really be concerned about? You will get all the reassurance that you need. And the higher love frequency you can tap into, the greater your state of bliss will be as we go through the hurricane. We stay centered in the eye of the hurricane, and all the kerfuffle that's going on around us it's barely a breeze, it barely touches us. And if it does, some more than others, again, got to ask the question, why? Why did that need to happen? What lesson can I learn from this? This lesson from our discussion about this topic has shown me that we need to teach you a little bit more about how the interconnectedness of spirit actually works here on your world and on your planet. It's an interconnectedness. So 3D me can be, and I'm not, I told you, from a border city. I don't see any difference between us other than a few, as I said, little quirky things. It's no big deal. We have quirky things in our own immediate families, right? So it's no big deal. Not to me personally. But for some Canadians who are, really riled up about this, perhaps they're not seeing the bigger picture. But I can view things from my personal point of view in this 3D density, as well as going up the ladder in the interdimensional conscious awareness and see the higher points of this, the greater understanding of this. This is an opening of the doorways and the pathways and the neural networks of your mind to clear yourself of anything where you feel confined. That's coming from the third dimensional higher mind. That's the one that transcends into the fifth dimensional diamond mind. Right? This is a transitional time. We're moving along our ascension line. It's a diamond mind. Right? So there's no judgment. The higher parts of me gives me that higher information, so that 3D me is going, oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't understand that, but I'm okay now. I get it. But both are right. There is no right and wrong. It just is. This is my personal opinion. And then there's me in 5D and so on, back to source. And every level I can tell you I have a different opinion. I have a different thought wave. I have a different emotion with it. Right? And each one, I'm climbing the mountain. So when I'm at the highest point that I can access frequency-wise, I'm now near the top of the mountain. I'm no longer at the base of the mountain viewing things and having a more clouded perception. See why judgment can't come into this. Because if you keep judging at every level, you're never going to expand your conscious awareness. And you have to right now. Whether you like it or not, it's being done. So it's easier if you just roll with it. And then you'll like it better. You'll like yourself better. And when you like yourself better, you're going to like others better. And then you're not going to go and get all upset over things that are not even worthy to be upset about. Right? These are emotional biases, emotional knee-jerk reactions. Center and ground yourself. Think this through. Detach from that emotional base. We don't want to get rid of the emotions. They're wonderful. They're what make us us. And we need them. They're vital. But we can't allow them to rule and nonsensically. Right? The mind has to come in, and mind has to be clear. Subconscious has to be cleared of the old traumas and programs and belief systems and all the brainwashing we've gone through. It's immense, it's intense what we've been through, what we've been made to do here, and against our will. Now we're getting our fifth dimensional minds back, intact. So don't roll backwards into the old ways of being and thinking because somebody triggers you with the name of a politician. Seriously. It's that easy to knock you off center, to knock you off course. Find your higher divine mind. That's your higher line of time. And that's where you're sustained. And you reach your mastery goals there. You're no longer a child. You know what to do. You can see through the situation. Oh, that person's giving me their opinion at the point in their learning curve where they're at now. That's interesting. I remember when I was at that point, I used to think like that, kind of, sort of the same. But I've grown and matured, so I can see that, maybe they're just, they're not quite there yet. Am I going to judge them? No. Am I going to be angry with them? No. That's where they're at, so that's fine. I don't want anybody judging me at the point where I'm at, because by tomorrow I'm going to be 10 levels higher. You see why we can't judge? Okay? We all know everything already before we even came in here. That's why we have to clear up the old memory codes and get back in sync with our higher selves. That's our way out. So when someone gives you a 3D opinion, don't crucify them, okay? Because by the next day, it could be all different, right? You can change your mind overnight. Say, I really hate that person. They did this, this, and this. And then you find out whoever told you the rumors or gossip about that person, they lied. Or they got misinformation. And then, okay, well, I like that person again. I mean, it's so silly. It's childish, right? So if anybody tells me stuff about somebody else, I go, okay. I don't think one way or the other about it. I will have to experience something with that person before I will make a decision, observation of that person in that moment, because by the next day they could be very different. So don't judge yourself or anybody else. It holds you to a certain vibration that most possibly isn't even true, right? It's not even real. So learn to be flexible, learn the interdimensional consciousness awareness, flow up and down with the energy fields. Don't be stuck in one way of looking or viewing at things or at people. You don't know the whole picture. We're not supposed to know it all just yet, but we're getting there. And some of us who have climbed higher in frequency can know more. And so those who aren't at that higher frequency can look to them, can view it through them, and make a decision of, yeah, okay, or no, and can't resonate with that just yet, so I really don't know. I'm going to sit on the fence for a while about that one till it becomes clearer to me. Just step out of your judgmentality and be free. Okay, that gets you stuck. It keeps you stuck. It keeps the whole nation stuck. keeps the whole globe stuck. Your users and abusers would love to see you stay stuck. So let's overthrow all that. Let's not be that way. Let's not be that one who is judgmental and keeps stuck in a particular mind frame and emotional base. Let's open ourselves up to clearing the human race. All right. Is there anything else? And clearing our interface. All right. We love you. We speak with love and grace. We're finalizing the different aspects of the human race. Okay. We're bringing us all back into higher space and loving grace. All right. Love you always. Take care of yourselves and others. And we shall speak again if you do wish to book an appointment with us. And I do have my new June pricing on the website, www.healingourenergy.ca. You can go there if you need any help releasing some of these fears, taking a deeper look at your subconscious issues to free you up. By all means, go ahead and book an appointment. We have a special on, a solstice special, 1 hour. It's only 55 Canadian. Yeah. All right, I'm going to go. My garden is calling me. I still have a corner of it that I have to remove some of the plants I don't want in there. And it's heating up out there. It's supposed to be feeling like it's 30 out there. So, yeah, I think I have my work cut out for me. All right, we'll talk another day. Bye for now.